Hi, I'm Chris with Lumo Computers, and today I want to talk about phishing emails. So, hacking into a computer is not something that the average person can do, especially for those in developing countries or just plainly people who don't want to get caught. There's enough businesses out there with enough security that they can actually catch the hackers in process so that they can be prosecuted. Also, hacking isn't click a couple buttons, a computer is hacked. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and frankly, hackers aren't going to waste your time unless it's really, really worth it. So if a hacker wanted to, let's say, get into Walmart or Amazon, those would be big companies, big corporations, and they have a lot of money, so therefore they're going to be big targets. But just because you're not a large company doesn't mean that you aren't a target, because phishing emails kind of bridge that gap between complexity and gaining access. So, this video is going to be on how to spot phishing emails and how to prevent yourself from just giving away your username and password. Phishing emails are part of what's known as social engineering, where they trick people rather than relying purely on technology to get past defenses. And it really doesn't matter how many defenses you have set up. If you give them your username and password, you're at serious risk of being hacked, maybe have your identity stolen, maybe have your customers' information stolen, or just having your computer invaded and taken over by a bad actor. So let's get into it. So, what is a phishing email? Here's the dictionary definition. A phishing email is a fraudulent message designed to trick the recipient into sharing sensitive information or clicking on malicious links. These emails often appear to come from legitimate organizations or trusted sources like banks, government agencies, online retailers, or even colleagues to make them seem believable. Now, hackers generally going to use one of the following methods to try to trick you into clicking a link or just giving up your information. Number one, deceptive appearance. Gone pretty much are the days of the Nigerian prince scammers where they say, hey, we've got $6 million in the bank and you're the next recipient. Or this Nigerian prince somehow knows you and he named you his successor. So we just need your information so we can transfer the money and fulfill his final wishes. Those days are pretty much gone. Now they've discovered, they being the hackers, have discovered that if they just craft the email to look like it's coming from Amazon or it's coming from Walmart or it's coming from your bank, if we craft it right and we use the right language and we get them to panic just a little bit, they'll give up their info, and then we can instantly use it to rob them. Basically, it's like hiding a key in one of those fake plastic rocks, but painting the rock neon orange. You make it super, super easy for them. So, deceptive appearance. The email will look legitimate. It will likely contain your bank's logo or the logo of a government agency, such as the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, or the IRS. Number two, it'll use urgent or fearful language. They do this because they don't want you to think before you act. They want you to panic. And it happened recently with a residential customer, even though we've talked about this, because the email was that well crafted and it caused her to panic a little bit. So hackers will often include language such as, your account has been compromised, or immediate action required, in order to get you to do what they want you to do without thinking about it first. Fear is a powerful emotion, and hackers know it. Number three, request for sensitive information. It doesn't do any good for a hacker to send you an email to take the time to do it if they're not going to get something out of it. So what they're going to ask for is usually your credit card info or your bank account info. The ultimate goal in most phishing emails is to gain access to protected resources. And by protected, I mean username and password protected. Hacking into a bank, for example, would be extremely difficult. But if you give them your password, even a novice can log in and take what's yours. Number 4, malicious links or attachments. Often, but not always, hackers will include a link for you to click. It might be a fake website set up to look exactly like your bank's login page, or it might direct you to a virus they want you to download. Number 5, spoofed email address. If you think you're being cautious by checking the email address a phishing email came from, it might not be enough. Sophisticated hackers can fake a legitimate email address to make their email look more believable. And remember, on the list was an email from a colleague. If your colleague falls for it, as I've seen before, and you give them your username and password for your email, they can then take over that email, send a bunch of spam to a bunch of other people, basically everyone on their contact list, and it looks more believable that they are the person they say they are because their email's already been hacked. Here's one email. I've got an email account that I've had for more than 20 years that I just use for spam. If I'm not sure if a company's going to start spamming me or if the site is 100% legitimate, I don't put in my password, but I'll give them this email address. It's kind of a throwaway. And it's not terrible to have one either. But let's look. First of all, it says it came from PayPal. They got their PayPal logo right there. That's one of the things they do. But if you look at the email address, it says gmail.com. PayPal has their own @paypal.com email addresses. No legitimate email from PayPal is going to come from a Gmail account. Also, look at the logo. The logo looks fuzzy. That's because whoever sent this email, they copied the PayPal logo, but it was too small, so they stretched it a little bit, hoping nobody would notice. When you do that, it makes the image all pixelated and fuzzy. So emails that come from PayPal should have a crisp PayPal logo. And they should come from @paypal.com. I'll read the email. It says, "We are thrilled to inform you that you're Norton," and why is it in quotes? It's Norton. Subscription worth USD. If it's an American company sending it to another American, they're just going to put a $sign in front of it. Has been successfully renewed. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel your order, you can cancel it within 12 hours. That is meant to build in a little bit of fear, because chances are you're not going to check your email immediately when this comes in, especially depending on the time of day. So if you go to work, you come back, it's been 8-9 hours, you only have a few hours left. That's a sense of urgency they're trying to build into this email. They're trying to get you to investigate further so that you don't think about it. So you don't think, wait, is this even real? And I know this isn't real. I know 100% one of the reasons is I don't use Norton. It's a great product. I use a different one. Here's another one, supposedly from SiriusXM. But this website is not SiriusXM's website. You would never get an email from a third-party website for a regular business, which is also why I recommend that all businesses, especially small businesses, get a website and get an email address that ends in the website, because it looks more legitimate. And if you're sending legitimate emails, people will trust you more if it comes from your website. Here's something else. SiriusXM is capitalized. The S should be capitalized. Here it's not. That's a typo. A company as big as SiriusXM wouldn't have typos in their emails. All of their email templates that their computers send out, nobody sends this out personally, they would all go through several sets of eyes to make sure everything is good, probably an algorithm, because there's a lot of legal ramifications. If you misspell or misstate something in an email, it can be used against you. They know that, so they wouldn't let this go out, and they did it again down here. This is just the scammer being lazy. If you look down here, it says, "Update my payment details." This is a link. It looks legitimate. It's all the same color. They did a pretty good job with this email. But what do you think is going to happen if you click that link? In this case, probably not a virus. Instead, they're probably going to direct you to a website that's made to look exactly like SiriusXM's website. In fact, they probably just copied it and then changed some of the code so that when you enter your credit card details, which is your payment details, that they can use that immediately and start pulling money from your account. And here's the silly part. It says down here, note, in case of ignorance, your services will be completely suspended within 24 hours according to the terms defined in our contracts. You only have one contract with SiriusXM, and that's your subscription contract. So contracts, that's got to be another typo. And in case of ignorance, oh, and look, the I in case of ignorance is also lowercase. I didn't edit this. This is how it came to me. All of these should be clues. In fact, every email you ever get from anyone should be viewed with suspicion. But especially if they're asking for private information, especially if it's financial information. Here's the last one. Supposedly this is from McAfee. This is another popular one. I get these all the time. But I don't use McAfee either. So that was an easy one for me. But a lot of people do. Let's look at the clues. So this is not McAfee.com. It didn't come from McAfee.com. They don't use third-party vendors for this. And even if they did, they would give them a @McAfee.com email address. Final warning. There's your sense of urgency. They want you to act because your account will be suspended today. All devices are unprotected. If that were true, that would be a cause for concern. But we already know this email isn't real. And you shouldn't click on anything in any email if you suspect it's not real. Just delete it. If it's super important, you'll get another email, a follow-up. You can call your bank. You can go straight to your bank's website. You can go straight to McAfee.com to check your subscription. You can do all that, but never follow a link in an email. And here's something else as well. Your account will be closed. Please review it. Your subscription will be released today. Your account will be suspended today. None of these match. Again, quality control would have caught this. Is it going to be suspended? Has it already been closed? Will it be released, whatever that means? None of this makes sense. But to be honest, most people don't read emails thoroughly. They skim them. They usually read the first couple lines, and then that's it. They don't read the rest of the details. And again, renew your membership today. Well, to renew your membership, you have to put in your credit card info so they have something to bill for the subscription. They're asking for personal information. And here's a funny part at the bottom. I guess it's not that funny, but it's something to pay attention to. This was at the bottom of that McAfee email. If you no longer wish to receive these emails, you may unsubscribe by clicking here. Never click here. If it's from a legitimate source and you know it's legitimate, go ahead and unsubscribe if they're sending you too many emails. But in this case, I strongly suspect that clicking this link, will actually take you to another website that the scammer has. And all they're going to do when you click the link is verify that this email is not only real and active, but that you check it once in a while. They're also going to see what time of day you check it. That way, they can craft other emails and try to send it shortly before that, so it's at the top of your email and you have a better chance of clicking it. Most of these unsubscribes, especially if you're not actively engaged in business with whoever sent you the email, most of these are just verifications so they know when to send you an email and that your email is actually active. So I wouldn't unsubscribe from any of these. You can always just mark them as spam, and once you mark enough of these, they'll just automatically end up in your spam folder. So basically the moral of the story is be cautious and suspicious of every single email that arrives, even if it looks legitimate. If you're not sure, go to their website directly. Don't click the link. If you have any questions about how to spot phishing emails, how to move things into spam, how to train your email provider on how to spot spam that's arriving in your inbox, or how to train your employees not to click these links as well and put your entire business at risk, contact me at lumocomputers.com and I'll get you set up.